Hi Wildings, welcome back to the Wilding Tarot YouTube channel, where we do intuitive tarot card readings on all things Lovers card, because obviously I'm a Gemini, Midhaven, and it rules the Lovers card, so what else were we gonna do? But in all seriousness, thank you so much for supporting my channel by watching ads. I really appreciate it, and it's definitely the easiest way to support online tarot readers. I have a really exciting and fun reading for you today. It's a little bit different, maybe a little bit more complicated, so making sure you're tuning into my little explainer to learn how to get the most out of this reading. I hope if it's applicable for you that you get a lot out of it, or at least entertained. And without further ado, let's get into the reading. Okay Wildings, let's get into today's video. So for today's video, it's going to be a two boos kind of video. Basically, we're going to be asking for spirit for channeled messages to kind of clarify energies between potentially having a specific person in mind and maybe a hypothetical other person or a literal other person if there's someone in your sphere that you think there might be a connection there. We're just going to ask for a general comparison between two energies. So you could have someone specific in mind for both, someone specific in mind for one, or just open to hearing messages about two potential suitors in your future. So it's going to be a bit of an interesting video. I haven't really thought how it's going to work. I'm just going to kind of go with the flow and see how things turn out, because again, this is something Spirit asked me to channel, and I'm just gonna trust the process with it to see what we get in the end. So for your messages today, you're going to choose either pile 1, 2 or 3, and if you do have a person in mind, we will be clarifying energies at the beginning of each reading. So you might find that one of the people potentially aligns with the specific person you have in mind, and then if you're open to the other energy, you might find that someone else pops into mind, or maybe it feels like someone who you can feel energetically but maybe haven't met yet. So just really trusting your intuition regarding kind of how this will play out for you specifically. Again, this is one of my favorite things about receiving tarot readings, and one of the things that I try and deliver is creating lots of space for your own intuition, your own interpretation, and strengthening that energy, because definitely that's something that has been a huge gift for me in terms of what tarot has given me. It's given me a lot of openness and understanding how to use my own intuition to kind of insert meaning where I feel called, and really listening to my deep inner truth, and noticing when something that feels like maybe anxiousness, attachment, anxiety kind of comes up, and definitely learning the difference between the two, because that's definitely a skill. It takes a lot of practice, and doing tarot readings like this, where there's a bit of space for your own interpretation and your own intuition, is definitely one of the ways that you can strengthen those skills, having known from experience. So there'll be lots of space for that. I am kind of getting the feeling that Spirit might be asking a few questions in this reading. So for example, if something especially if you have two very specific people in mind, I would say something might come up around Spirit may be asking who shows up for you the best, or who is most consistent, or whatever your kind of, especially if it feels like a concern coming from within, Spirit might re-clarify with questions in this reading. So if you do feel a important question being asked, feel free to pause the reading and just think on it. You can even journal if you wish, to kind of get the most out of whatever Spirit is kind of asking you to direct your attention or intention. towards in this reading. So yeah, like really it's kind of going to be a choose your own adventure, and just know there's plenty of ways to listen to this reading and plenty of ways to also work with the energies in this reading. So yeah, just being like super open to all of that. If you do end up in a pile, because we are going to be clarifying energies and it feels like the energies maybe aren't either someone you're expecting or someone that resonates, you can always come back and try another pile, because you might have ended up maybe in the wrong place for some reason, but that in itself is usually a intuition strengthening exercise. Like that's never by accident, and it's never signifying any fault or lack. It's usually just part of the path, part of the journey, part of the ever wisdom of the universe guiding you to places to feel the flow, but to also test you and up level you at the same time. If you do end up in a place where the reading is maybe half resonating and half not resonating for those energy clarifications, you might find that your particular situation is maybe a mix of two different readings. So you may need to circle back here and just double check and make sure that you're not resonating with another pile as well, because sometimes we are a bit of a combination of two different readings. So that's always an option for you too, if you feel like you're maybe like half resonating with it, half not. Yeah, the rest of your reading might potentially be in another pile. What else? What other disclaimers do I need to say? Nothing's really springing to mind, so I think we will basically be ready to get started. I'm going to leave a little kind of freeze frame moment if you just need a little bit more time to focus on each pile and be guided towards one over the other, especially because I've been talking this whole time. So you will get a little bit of extra time and space to make your choice if you haven't already. But yeah, wherever you end up, either pile 1, 2, or 3, I will see you there in a moment. Hey there, pile 1, welcome to your reading. So if you chose this beautiful, I think it's iolite crystal, then this reading is probably for you, but just checking in with your intuition to make sure that you're in the right place, redirecting yourself if you in your gut know that you're in the wrong place, and also listening to your intuition if you were drawn to more than one pile today. So we're going to start by clarifying the energies of this reading today. I'm going to do kind of two separate piles of energy clarifications to identify kind of like who the two parties maybe are. You might find that if you have someone specific in mind, that this alternative pile might bring someone specific to mind. It might be like a general energy of maybe just like who you thought you were going to end up with, or maybe who might be a better fit for you depending on how the reading goes. Or you might find that this feels like a resonant energy, but maybe a resonant energy from either a past life or this future life, like maybe you haven't lined up with them yet according to the timeline that we're currently on. So yeah, just being like super open, this reading can definitely go a lot of ways, and just like trusting your little inner guidance. If something kind of comes to your little inner ear, like really listening to whatever that wisdom has to say. So yeah, we'll start by clarifying the first energy. And the second energy, please. So I'm noticing that this first energy was like much quicker to come out, whereas this second energy, it does feel like maybe the cards are coming out a little bit more like either slowly or hesitantly, or just like I'm kind of like already getting from this person that they might be a little bit meticulous. I'm going to leave that on that side actually. Do we have a last card for this first pile, please? Do you want to add any more energies for the second pile? So it seems like for this first energy, there's definitely a lot of love and desire there, and this person's probably going through a big spiritual awakening and a lot of kind of upgrading and reinventing themselves and kind of really flourishing. This person over here feels a little bit more kind of secure, stable, maybe a little bit more safe, comfortable, maybe... I'm definitely feeling that this connection is not maybe creating the intensity that this connection is creating. There's definitely a kind of spiritual feel to it though, with this 7th house Pisces and Neptune card all coming out. I would say that the two energies maybe feel different in terms of spiritual energies. Like I would say this one maybe feels a little bit more mirroring and challenging, especially with this Uranus and 9th house energy coming out, whereas this one maybe feels a little bit kind of easier, I'm sensing. But maybe this person's maybe not made as many moves in this connection for whatever reason. With this void of course of moon, there's maybe been a little bit of lack of action, even though it feels like this person is kind of easy to be around. Maybe something hasn't happened yet, and we'll find out what that block might be referring to. Whereas this person, there just feels like there's more history here. There's been probably a bit more time to build up kind of a foundation, regardless of whether you've been together or not. Like it might be that this feels familiar from a past life, if you haven't felt like, if you don't feel like you've connected with this person before, but there's definitely, it feels like there's definitely history here of some kind. Definitely this Capricorn and Venus, like I'm getting like kind of there's been some building here of some kind. Gemini does rule the Lovers card in the tarot. So this could be a twin flame energy. We do have it with coming out with the 9th and 3rd house. Now the 3rd house is all about kind of communication, and it's our real first communication with spirit and divine kind of energy too, especially through mirroring of the people that we interact with in early life. So like early school, neighbors, siblings, things like that. There's some mirroring energy here. And then the 9th house is Sagittarius energy. It's ruled by Jupiter. And so there's a very kind of like spiritual development, personal development, expansive kind of energy here. I would say overall this does feel maybe a little bit more soulmatey, to be honest. Like Saturn is a very binding energy, and like we've got the 7th house of partnerships, which definitely feels like more of a soulmate energy to me, like that Libra kind of finding your perfect balance energies here. Like someone who kind of can work with you well. Libra also rules the Justice card, which is a marriage card. So this might be more of the marrying kind of soulmate, whereas this might be more of the spiritually developing kind of twin flame energy. They're definitely very interesting. But like I know people have this tendency to kind of make a lot of judgment and put these kind of connections on hierarchies, and a lot of people do put twin flame at the top, soulmate in the middle, and karmic at the bottom. Really, spirit doesn't see connections in that way. Like there's no hierarchy when it comes to connections. You don't necessarily have to end up with someone and marrying them and being with them forever for it to be a good connection either. Like that, all those judgments do come from the human experience. So like both of these energies, even though they do feel different, they do feel very divine. It doesn't really feel like you could make a wrong choice, to be honest, so far. Like obviously we're very early into our reading, but there's definitely pros and cons of each, and there's a spiritual element of each that definitely at this stage feels worth exploring as well. But we will just get some extra personality descriptors of each pile, just for like that extra confirmation, or if you haven't met one of these people, just to kind of be maybe aware of the more physical aspects of this person when they do come in. There's a lot more descriptors of this second person popping out straight away. Okay, so some more about this first energy. This person might lean on the quiet side or enjoy solitude at the very least. It's a very energetic kind of person. This is someone, so energetic can be interpreted in two ways. This can be someone with a lot of energy, or this is someone who's very, very sensitive to energy. So either interpretation. Full lips, light brown hair, confident, independent, and a broader kind of nose. This is relative, so it could just be broad in comparison to maybe previous partners, or like broad in comparison to the area you live in. So this second person is disciplined. That's this Saturn energy. They potentially have hazel eyes, potentially fairly sensitive. They might be on the paler side, either in comparison to this person or comparison to people that you've dated in the past, or they could be dark skin, either or. Might be a mix of people here. We have conscientious. Face may be more square, or they may just have like a very square jawline, which may give them the illusion of a square face. And this person's a student, so they're potentially learning something right now, either in like formal education or like just some like online course or something. They're in the process of learning. Yeah, these are definitely very interesting energies, but we'll get we actually might get some messages of love of each of these next. Okay, so these are very interesting oracles to come out for each of these energies. So it does seem with this, I'm going to call it a twin flame connection. If it doesn't feel like a twin flame connection with you, just like disregard that and insert your own explainer of it. But I think for the majority of here, this might feel a little bit more twin flamey. For this person, it does seem like there's an element of fate here. This is definitely a destined partnership. Destined partnerships, again, it's not subject to that very human judgment of like you have to end up with someone, you have to marry them, you have to like do like all these sort of things. Like it's definitely free of that judgment, but there is definitely a heavy destined partnership fate element to this connection. And you'll probably feel within whether this fate, this in the stars energy has been completed or not, if like it's run its course, or if there's still more to the story. Like really tuning into your inner wisdom with that, and knowing kind of whether this fate is in the past and this fate was about lessons that are supposed to move you forward, or if this fate is still has a little bit more to go. And that might mean that you do end up together. It might mean that you need to get to that similar place of like having it reach its natural course and then using it for lessons. Like take whatever resonates. If it feels like there's more to the story, regardless of kind of what the end game is, know within. Know that in this connection though, there is a lot of abundance, there's a lot of flow, and the energies now seem to be at a peak. So regardless of whether it feels like it's something in the past that you like learning lessons from, or if there's still more to the story, know that you're in an abundant place when it comes to this connection. You're in much more of a flow place, and like there's probably a lot more power and potential in this connection right now, based on current energies. In this connection, I'm going to call it the soulmate connection, but use a different word if that doesn't feel right for you. It does seem like there's some sort of external party intruding on this relationship. This might be a physical party, it might be something else. There might be something going on in the stars, for example, with this void of course of moon energy. This card, what it refers to is a period of time where the moon's not making aspects to any other planets. So it's kind of like this energy of like kind of not really anything happening between the moon and any particular kind of part of the rest of the solar system. So yeah, this energy might be about a physical third party. There may be like either an ex or like some sort of timing thing where there's some interference and this connection's being blocked for some reason. The block may also be coming from this person. Like this person may be kind of manifesting this person to be blocked, especially if they're aware of this person. Yeah, there may be some kind of energies interfering here. that's not to say it's all doom and gloom and that you have to accept that for what it is. Like, you can absolutely energetically interrupt this if that's what you feel like is happening, and you want to liberate this connection. Like, absolutely, there's witchy stuff you can do. There's cord cutting ceremonies, things like that you can do to rejig this energy. But right now, there's some sort of interference with this connection. There is definitely a lot of passion in this connection, but it does seem like there's some sort of time limit on it. That's not to say that this connection is automatically endless, though it might be. But yeah, it does seem like there's a time limit on this connection for whatever reason. But we'll get our tarot reading to find out a little bit more about this either present or future situation with these two energies. Do you have a lot of reversals coming up straight away? Can you clarify this King of Wands energy? And the King of Pentacles. And the Empress. Okay, so for this reading, I'm going to assume that most of the energies on this side refer to this person and most of the energies on this side refer to this person. But yeah, you can switch this around if it does feel a little bit different for your specific situation, but I'd say for the majority of people that that's the way it is. It does seem like this person here maybe had a bit of player tendencies in the past, whether that's with you or in past connections with others, and they may not have been able to be kind of a stand-up, maybe family guy or girl or person in some way. Like, they may not have had it together in terms of like maybe their values, their lifestyle, their job, or just financially. Like, they may have been blocked in some ways when it comes to these main two energies. The King of Wands is usually very charming, but they do have very player tendencies, especially in reverse, because pretty much everyone likes them, and so they can be very tempted by just like the amount of people that would essentially be willing to get down with them. And then this King of Pentacles energy, usually this refers to someone with a lot of potential. King of Pentacles is a really good indicator of a like kind of family person, but when it comes out in reverse, sometimes someone can be overwhelmed with all of the responsibility that comes with that, like making lots of decisions, being financially secure, being able to financially support someone else, especially if they're going to be the breadwinner during a like family situation, like regardless of their gender. That puts a lot of pressure on them, on people. So yeah, there's definitely this person was like kind of cracking under the pressure of some things, either in this connection or in past connections, and potentially this made this person maybe a little bit prone to conflict. So the Two of Wands, this can be a kind of progressive discovery kind of energy, but it isn't a Mars in Aries energy, so there's definitely potential for a lot of conflict, some self-centeredness, some like really just worrying about the self kind of energy. And so yeah, this person may have been really caught up in kind of figuring out what was going on for them, that they maybe weren't open to either resolving conflicts that were coming up because of their own insecurities, or just like not even being aware of the conflicts that they were actually creating from their own insecurities. And so I would say this person, part of this like big reinvention, spiritual awakening and upgrading energy that they've been through is definitely some sort of maturing. They may have been kind of either manifesting from a place of like just kind of working really hard and hoping that it works out with not really a lot of intention or conscious intention at the very least. Or maybe they were manifesting from this place of almost self-fulfilling prophecies. And so they've kind of had to go to the drawing board a bit more with that, and maybe work on some of their rituals, especially any kind of daily rituals to do with self-care, kind of like basic financial security, and yeah, kind of getting it together just in the basics. This Hierophant card, this is Taurus energy. It's definitely about money, receptivity, financial security, work, comfort, self-care, and yeah, any kind of especially spiritual rituals that kind of awaken the spirit within a person. Like that's definitely been the process that this person's been going through. This Eight of Wands energy, this is a Mercury and Sagittarius energy. Mercury's in fall in Sagittarius, doesn't enjoy being in Sagittarius. It's generally kind of a difficult card, especially when it comes out in reverse. And when it comes out in reverse, it is usually referring to someone who's had some sort of prompt that's brought about their healing. So there's been some sort of challenge for this person, either in a past connection or in the past of your connection with them, where they've had to where they've almost been backed into a corner where almost their only option was to heal. Like they almost had no other option but to heal. And so they've been definitely trying to maybe slow down their life, reestablish some things, find out what their truth is, and express themselves in a more authentic way, maybe understand their own truth in a deeper sense, and maybe try and stop manifesting from a place of kind of shadow or like just lack of intention. Like they're really trying to get it together, especially because Sag rules this 9th house of spiritual development and personal development and travel and kind of broadening your horizons. It definitely feels like that's something this person's really had to kind of nut out. With this energy, when the Empress and the Devil come out, especially in reverse, sometimes this refers to either a pregnancy scare or just like a potential for things to go down that way. So either take this as either a confirmation if you've already been through that with this person, or just like a warning, just like something to be super mindful of, that there may be some kind of overpowering sexual energy, may just like one thing may lead to another. And yeah, there's definitely just some potential here to just be mindful of. But that said, I do still feel like, so the Devil is Capricorn energy, the Empress is Venus energy. These two, to be honest, like they do make a very enticing pair, especially like just considering all the other energy that came out. Like I would say this connection feels very kind of divine masculine, divine feminine, like kind of magnetic. There's a drawing to one another. There's potentially even a freedom for each other to be yourselves in a way, kind of as things already are. Like I would say this connection over here maybe might be better either in the future or based on all this stuff that this person's personally evolving. Like I would say the past of this connection maybe almost didn't feel compatible in some ways, whereas this one's always felt kind of compatible, kind of easy. And there's definitely a magnetism here that has almost been instantaneous. There feels like there's a freedom to the Empress energy. Like there's definitely a liberated Empress energy on this side, and there's also a liberated Devil energy. Like there's someone on this side that's very kind of hedonistic, someone who's really into exploring kind of all of the earthly pleasures that there is to offer. And it may feel like this person's also very emotionally available with this King of Cups card come out. This is someone who's very supportive and empathetic and can be a real container to kind of hold you and hold your stuff. And this may be someone who's also very bright, very strong, maybe has done some kind of personal ego work. So they're essentially tamed the fight, flight, freeze, fawns response animal within, so that they're maybe a little bit mature, especially in conflict, whereas maybe this person on this side didn't feel that mature, whereas this person maybe does. Yeah, so again, there's just like a lot of potential with this connection. There's definitely a very spiritual element to it. There's a lot of safety here and just like comfortability. But yeah, there's definitely pros and cons on each side for sure. I feel like maybe there's something else. Is there anything you want to draw attention to, please? Okay, this is a lot. Okay, so potentially there's a new kind of cycle when it comes to these two connections. There's a lot of possibility for essentially you to choose your path, to choose which lane feels best for you and what's going to serve your best interests. Even if it doesn't feel like you have kind of potential freedom, choice, pure like manifesting energy right now, like Spirit's trying to remind you that you do, like your intention, your will, your desires definitely strictly relate to kind of how things will unfold. And kind of like this person here, if it doesn't feel that way, potentially things will unfold from your shadow, and you'll be kind of moving more on autopilot. So definitely it's a good idea to pay attention to like really what you want, setting an intention, and really aligning your energy with the intention that you have, knowing that you can't like really make a mistake. Like whatever feels right, there's a reason that it feels right. So really just trusting your inner wisdom and trusting that even if things get a bit crazy, like you have your own back, like you'll be able to handle whatever comes up. So yeah, don't worry about making the wrong mistake, just align with what feels good to you now. So part of what might be interrupting the path for you, maybe some sort of fear of loss or abandonment, or maybe this person, whoever you choose, either leaving you or moving away or creating some sort of distance, whether it's physical or emotional in some way. So Spirit's really asking you, in order to like manifest with this kind of pure intention, to like work out whatever it is that's coming up for you, and try not to change yourself, but bring a lot of conscious energy to it, and bring a lot of empowerment to it. So that's usually something that you'll find that you have very natural boundaries around. Like there'll be things that you'll want to communicate or regulate to help with your own comfort, to kind of like have your own back. So yeah, exploring what your boundaries are with either choice, with either person, and especially figuring out what your boundaries are with what feels right for you. And yeah, like trying to pay attention to where you're going a lot into this fear of abandonment energy and maybe creating walls, or leaning towards manipulation to make that not happen, and trying to dial it back to that boundary place rather than that wall place. Or inversely, if you suffer with the opposite problem of like having no boundaries and hoping that it'll work out because you're completely self-abandoning, self-sacrificing, like trying to come the other way. So whichever way you end up going to, like trying to find that middle ground and like bring it back to the boundary. And Also paying attention to each person's response to your boundaries, because that will tell you a lot about the longevity potential of either connection. Yeah, there's definitely some need to find a very grounded, secure, stable place within yourself right now. So finding ways to especially earth yourself, so put your feet in dirt, put your body in nature more, experience like sunshine, adventure, like things like that, in a very kind of natural, grounded way will be helpful. And also whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, like coming to some self-soothing, self-grounding, and reinforcing that you're there for you ultimately. So yeah, that's the main energy you need to be there for you. Like obviously we're social creatures and we need people to be there for us as well, but you need to also be there for you. So focusing on where you can be there for you. We also have the Sun card. So this usually refers to looking for the opportunity to be at your highest potential or highest vibration. That doesn't mean everything's necessarily easy when things are at a high vibration. Sometimes there's still conflict in high vibrations. We just deal with it in a very healthy way. So figuring out where there's healthy conflict that can be dealt with in a healthy way, and what feels like ultimately is in your highest alignment or for your highest good. This also can be a redemption card. So if there's history with either of these people, there may be some need for some redeeming with the two of you, maybe to get on some sort of even playing field or something like that. So if you've done one of these people dirty or they've done you dirty, like making sure that you're taking into consideration how that kind of repair is going to go down, and whether that's even possible. Because if repair is not possible, it's probably like, yeah, not the right connection. We also have the Knight of Cups. This is a very romantic card, so there's probably a need to follow some passion and romance without getting carried away, because it did come out in reverse. So you want to follow what kind of makes you feel alive, what makes you feel love, what makes you feel passionate and romantic, but yeah, not to get carried away and make that the only deciding factor, but just making sure you factor it in. This Temperance card is kind of similar to where we were going on the Sun tangent in terms of like, this is Sagittarius energy. This card is concerned with you integrating your kind of 3D and 5D self as best possible, and it wants you to make the best choice for your own expansion and your own spiritual development, and you'll know within what that looks like. And we have also the Seven of Wands cards. This is a Mars in Leo energy, and this is about choosing your battles wisely, and knowing that you can call upon divine protection to support you throughout whatever challenges arise with these battles that you choose to face. It seems like whichever choice you make, there's going to be challenges on either side. And as long as you're not letting ego motivate you to choose one side or the other, especially not choosing, just like be mindful of like what your ego wants you to choose and why it wants you to choose it. And just like ask yourself, what does my ego want and why does it want it? And asking like, what's the smartest, or what's the most heart-led Leo energy choice to make. So yeah, looking for that Leo intentional kind of battle energy. That was like quite a lot of messages today, so if you ended up here, I'm kind of not surprised, just based on how much Spirit kind of wanted to get out for you. But we'll do some oracles. Okay, some oracles, please. Okay. So we have love, unconditional love, self-love, oneness, passion, affection, attraction, sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, working on it, needing time to heal, cycles, progress, yin yang, zen, balance, twin flame, union, duality, coupling, complementing each other, golden mirror, self-absorbed, narcissistic, one-sided relationship, love bombing, unconditionally loving, giving and receiving, falling in love. There's a lot of really positive energies here. I'm not going to assign them to either side. I think these are all just more like things to be mindful of moving forward, like really following that love energy, and choosing the connection that's in your highest good. For some people that will be their twin flame, for other people it won't be, just based on kind of the contract that you have with your twin flame. And yeah, being really mindful of any one-sidedness or self-absorbedness either within or within the other person. Like just being really mindful of where like ego and trauma comes into play with these connections. I would say because they both feel spiritual, that there's going to be an element of that in both connections, and there's definitely going to be a need to really work on things and do a lot of healing and put in a lot of effort, kind of no matter what. And if you're focusing on these energies, probably you'll find yourself aligning with one outcome more than the other. So kind of like worry about what you're aligning with before you worry about, like don't make it about the person so much, like worry about your own alignment more so. Okay, so other things Spirit wants you to focus on is your boundaries and your peace. Like that's priority number uno. Also your power and the lessons that you're being taught throughout this experience. They're all really important. You may want to use these headings as like journal prompts, like do some automatic writing around peace, around boundaries, around the realizations you've been having, and around what makes you feel empowered or powerful. Because yeah, those should direct you forward. We do have a new start is coming card. So yeah, kind of similar to that full energy. There's definitely kind of a freshness here and a lot of potential. Okay, and we also have a personal issue reaches resolution. So if there's been something that's troubling you or them or either of them, know that there's going to be some sort of resolution for that energy. Okay, and so for your affirmations for today, we have compassion naturally flows from the heart of my inner being, and I forgive the hurt that has been done to me, and I step away from the prison of resentment. So yeah, I feel like those are self-explanatory, and you'll know how to apply them. But I think I'm going to leave that here. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed today, or I hope it entertained you at the very least. It's been a pleasure reading for you. My personal readings are open for booking. I think I'm booked about a month in advance, so you can check my you can apply to have a reading using the link in the description box. But yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks so much for watching, especially thanks for your likes, comments, watching all the way through. I really appreciate it. And until I see you again, ciao. Hey there, part 2. Welcome to your reading. So if you chose this beautiful, I think moss agate crystal, then this reading is probably for you. But as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you feel like you're resonating with maybe half your reading, the other half of your reading might be in a different pile. If you, I don't know what other disclaimers there are. Can't think of them off the top of my head. So yeah, go back if you missed it to the explainer part if you want the rest of the disclaimers. But we're just going to clarify the two energies in this reading. This might be two people that you don't know, one person that you do know, one person that you don't, or two unfamiliar energies. So yeah, kind of take this reading in whatever context kind of fits for you best, and really trusting your inner wisdom and guidance, especially if you get any little nudges to let you know that maybe you have or haven't met a certain person before. If someone's springing to mind, like, really trust it. We are going to do some energy clarifications in two separate piles, so we can kind of get the two energies that might be involved in this situation for you. Spirit, could we please have this first person energy, please? And some more second person energies, please. So we have some more kind of open spiritual energies on this side, I would say, with Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn all coming out. They're all a little bit more public kind of energies, maybe a little bit more extroverted energies as well. And then we have some more introverted or kind of more private energies on this side with the third, fourth house and Taurus energy coming out. So I would say both are spiritual, because we do have a lot of 12th house spiritual Pisces kind of energy on both sides. This person might be a little bit more maybe intuitive, maybe a little bit more of a deep thinker, and maybe more of a deeply feeling person. I would say this person definitely thinks maybe more intelligently, maybe is a little bit more of a communicator, and maybe a bit more objective rather than deep. And not that you can't be one or the other, just like I would say, if you're going to try and differentiate these two people, even though they do seem to have a fair bit of overlap, yeah, that's one of the easiest ways to distinct these energies. I would say this energy is also maybe a little bit more, there's a little bit more masculine kind of swords and fire energy here, where I would say here the masculine feels a bit more maybe grounded. There's definitely an earthy and watery element to this kind of masculine energy. So yeah, they're definitely masculine in different ways, I would say, for the majority of people here, regardless of their sex or gender presentation. There's definitely some more grounded masculine energy here, and more maybe a bit more maybe traditionally masculine over here, but again, this person's more introverted, this person's maybe more extroverted, I would say. So we have on this side Gemini, Pisces, Taurus, Cancer, Aries, and Scorpio energy, and Virgo, sorry. And on this side we have Capricorn, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and that's it. So yeah, this could be either's placements or just some of their major personality characteristics. I would say this person maybe, there's definitely either a homebody element to this person or a kind of maybe a little bit more element of someone who maybe stays in one place a little bit more, where I would get more of a traveling energy from this person. This person might like to shift where they live a bit more. This person might like aesthetics, creature comforts, and like maybe kind of money and material possessions a little bit more, whereas this person probably like just enjoys working hard. And like, not to say they don't like nice things, but I would say that's they're maybe not as material as the other person. Also maybe not as aesthetic. Like they're really into the inner work and kind of bettering themselves in the world. They may also care a lot more about their public image, about how people perceive them, where I would say this person maybe doesn't care as much about how people perceive them. And there may be some sort of destined element of this connection over here as well. We'll get some extra descriptors for either extra confirmation or just a bit more clarity if that's what you feel like you need. So this first energy probably has big eyes, a more square-ish face, or small eyes. Might be a mix of people referring to this first person. Piercings. Fairly agreeable. Kind of what I was saying, like they probably care what other people think a bit more. Cheerful. Very short, either in comparison to other people that you've dated or just in general, or you, or also really tall. Okay, so this energy is definitely going to be kind of a mix of people. They're probably more like everyone who's here, this person's probably similar in maybe energy than physical aesthetics so far. Compassionate. Creative. Short, but most of this side agrees that this person is short. So the other side we have disciplined, long nose, healer, genius. This is this Mercury energy. It's very objective kind of intelligence too. Entrepreneur. So we do have some extroverts on this side. Someone who's fairly assertive, that's that Mars energy. May have brown eyes. maybe an adventure. So this is someone who likes to rectify things, especially things that feel unjust. They may have longer hair. And they may have a very either sweet or charming kind of personality. We get some oracles for each side. Okay, so we do have probably both very intentional connections. It seems like this side here, it might be more important to take things slow and maybe move a little bit more traditionally, if your goal with this energy is more of a marriage energy, you're on the right track. And just taking it slow and really getting to know each other deep down will help that intention. On this side, we have leap of faith. It's safe to make the move you're considering, and your soul remembers this intense connection. So there's probably some past life energy with this side. It may feel a little bit more familiar in some way, and that might be why it's going to be a little bit easier to move a little bit more quickly with this connection, because there's some history there, some things that are already worked out, and it may be easier to make some of the bigger and faster moves with this connection based on that history. But we'll get some more details about what's going on with these two connections for you using the traditional tarot. So what's interesting with these cards is that these two energies seem to be kind of clarifying either side. So the Seven of Cups is all about being really mindful of toxicity and really not accepting it. Definitely not accepting any kind of addictive tendencies within the self either. So really trying to kind of keep the mind clear and avoid any feelings of kind of addiction or confusion. This Knight of Swords is usually a fairly tedious energy as well, so it may feel like this person on this side is fairly tedious in some way, whereas kind of and this may be a lot of the reason why there's some go slow energy here, whereas this energy, this Six of Wands, is more of a feel the fear, do it anyway, like take a leap of faith energy, because it is a Jupiter in Leo energy, and it's really about pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, being confident, not being kind of afraid to either shine or have the spotlight on you, or like go after what the heart wants. And then the Queen of Pentacles is a very kind of nurturing, stable, kind of abundant, especially in kind of a maternal energy kind of way. So yeah, it does seem like this might feel like a bit of a crossroads of some kind. On this side, there seems to be just a lot more challenging energies Swords energies are traditionally challenging. The Seven of Cups in particular is more of a challenging energy as well. These energies on this side are a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit easier to deal with. We also have like a Two of Cups, which is a partnership attraction energy. We have the Two of Swords, which is about seeing two different points of view and potentially being different, but being able to kind of connect anyway. It's also about really calming your emotions and trying to find some heart-mind alignment. There's a lot of heart energy, honestly, because we've got Leo energy here, and Leo rules the heart chakra. So there's a lot of like very heart-focused energy here, where there's a lot of mental energy over here. The Ten of Swords is a challenging card because it deals with things like loss and defeat. It's a Sun in Gemini energy, and it really asks us to start over with a whole new paradigm. And this is a similar energy in terms of renewal. So it seems like if this person was to be a choice of yours, if you were going to pursue this connection, you'd have to be moved through it really slowly, mindfully, and be very aware that likely some of your stuff would get triggered and their stuff would be triggered. They might feel tedious because they're rubbing up against you in a very specific way. There may be some more mirroring on this side, and definitely maybe some either fear of loss or abandonment or rejection or something going on this side. Like there's definitely some challenge, particularly to do with your past, your kind of conditioning, your stories. So yeah, this would definitely be, I would say, confronting the shadow more. Whereas this one kind of feels like you'd be kind of challenging yourself to really step into your light, into your highest good, into still a version of yourself where you're having to deal with kind of ego and the fight, flight, or freeze, fawn response mode and like the animal within. But it just seems like it would be happening in more of a heart-led kind of easier way in a lot of ways, whereas this may feel more dark or challenging for whatever reason. Yeah, there's still some hang-ups because we do have some reversals on this side, and we have some reversals in things like seeing each other's point of view and being really connected. There may be some karma there from past lives around your ability to connect with each other, but it also doesn't seem necessarily that difficult to overcome either. Like I would say the second energy does feel a little bit easier. Whoop. Okay, so we just lost a whole bunch of cards. They're really slippery. So it does seem like for you this might be a real like time of kind of pure potential and openness when it comes to kind of forging whatever path it is that you wish when it comes to love. So your intention will influence kind of outcome a lot. Yeah, the Ace of Cups is like really pure potential when it comes to love, relationship, connection, intuition, psychic abilities. Like, yeah, there's just a lot of potential energy. The Seven of Wands, this is a Mars in Leo energy, and this is really about choosing your battles wisely, knowing that you can call on divine protection to support you no matter which path you go down, but also making sure that you're not choosing a path out of ego. So this could be choosing to avoid something that is difficult because it feels too difficult, or avoiding something that feels easy because you want the easy option. Like it could be anything along those lines. Like, yeah, just making sure you're making a choice that is, yeah, as heart-led as possible with these. So like really thinking about like all of those different things that are coming into play with this kind of opposite energies challenging each other. There's probably some conflict that needs to be resolved either within yourself when it comes to either of this connection, or with one of these people or both of these people. There may be some history, some conflict to resolve before you have that kind of clean slate to begin again. So yeah, if there feels like there's some past stuff getting in the way, it might be like a you thing to kind of let go of. It might be a kind of teamwork effort to maybe bring some things up and resolve some things. So yeah, trusting your inner wisdom in regards to what needs to be resolved in order to move forward. So it seems like there's some things that need some resolution. And this may just be like, if you're feeling conflicted between the two energies, like resolving that inner confliction by just like maybe doing some healing, some journaling, some like really focusing on you and what's right for you kind of time. So for you, we have some very interesting energies. So we have healing heart, a time to heal from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationships or addiction. We also have receiving what you need, progression, arriving, moving on, closing of issues, ascending, transcending obstacles, learning, expansion, new phase, preparing for union, breakup, separation, stop the pattern, silent treatment, abandonment, twin flame, yin yang, zen, balance, union, duality, coupling, complementing each other, karmic relationship, fleeting triggers, turmoil, resentment, lessons, letting go and loving you. And then we have hammer, sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, working on it. So yeah, these two energies, what was I going to say? Yeah, these cards feel like they're reflecting maybe parts of these two energies. Like I wouldn't say that either of these feel entirely twin flame, entirely karmic. Like there's an argument for some karma here, but there's also an argument for some twin flame energy here. I think you'll know based on your own inner wisdom if for you either pile is referring to one or the other, because remember, everyone, like different people are different energies for different people. So someone who's a twin flame for you can be karmic for someone else. So yeah, and this is why we don't judge, because there's just like so much higher order energies and plans, and like, yeah, no one kind of connection is better than another in a lot of ways because of that. So yeah, know that the issues at hand are really where there's kind of triggers, turmoil, separation, toxicity, needing to heal, as well as making the best choice for yourself and for your kind of highest good, and like really building something solid and really being able to let go of the past as well. But we'll see what else the oracles have for you. So we have the path, the unexpected, purity, and creation. So yeah, I would say this is definitely about kind of definitely your ascension, like becoming more in touch with your sovereign self. Maybe kind of how things will turn out will be a little bit different to how you're expecting, but you have a influence on the creation process. So like really checking in with your heart's desires and really aligning your energy with the outcome that you desire. So we have to take time to breathe out and surrender to the divine. So yeah, there's definitely an element of intention, but also once you've set that intention, like really not trying to force it, really just like trying to find this allowing energy that's coming out here, and allowing things to unfold as they should. And again, try not to let the ego interrupt that too much. We have some affirmations, please. Okay, so your affirmation is compassion naturally flows from the heart of my inner being. I think this is important for all this kind of like healing, forgiveness, letting go, surrender kind of energy. Like this is definitely an important affirmation to embrace those energies. But I think I'm going to leave this here. I hope you got everything that you wanted and needed out of this reading, or you were entertained at the very least. It's been a pleasure reading for you. Thanks so much for liking, commenting, subscribing. If you would like to book a personal reading, I think I'm booked about a month in advance, and the link is in the description box. And thanks for supporting me on this platform, and all my other socials are also linked in the description box if you would like to support me on others. But until we see each other again, ciao. Hey Pile 3, welcome to your reading. So if you chose this pink agate crystal, then this reading is probably for you. We're going to start by clarifying our energies in this reading. So we'll make 2 piles, one for each of the energies. They may refer to people you haven't met yet, a specific person and an unspecified person, or you may have 2 people in mind, or the reading might bring 2 people to mind. So yeah, just being open with how this reading is going to go for you, to receive the messages that Spirit intends for you today. Spirit, can we please have some more energies for this first person? And energies for this second person, please. So it's very likely that this person is more mature than you. We've got the part of Fortune and Capricorn energy. This is someone who probably has their life together a little bit, at the very least. This person either might be older than you, or they might be about 27 to 30 years old and going through their Saturn return, one of the two. This person is heavy kind of Mercury energy. Mercury might be the dominant placement in their chart. We've got a lot of Virgo, Gemini energy here, kind of got double Virgo even. And this person is a bit of a provoker, so they might be thought-provoking, or they might just like mirror you in a lot of ways, either kind of showing you who you are or showing you the opposite of who you are, in some way. This person may feel maybe more distant in a way, I'm kind of getting. We've got voided course of moon. Capricorn can be a little distant, especially emotionally, and we do have a fair bit of air energy, so this person may also to an extent be very in their head and maybe a little bit less in their body, whereas I'd say this person's maybe a bit more grounded in a way, because we've got a lot of earth kind of stability balancing out that Mercury mental activity, where there's a fair bit more air energy on this side and less earth on this side. So this person may be a little bit less grounded in a way. It seems like this person might be a lot more practical and like concerned about having everything kind of physically in place, like having a nice house, having a like good job, partner. Like a lot of the kind of shoulds might be very active for this person, whereas this person might be a little bit more maybe into either spirituality or just like maybe being willing to experience some more earthly pleasures, especially with this earth energy. So yeah, that could be like travel, higher education, or just like spirituality, or just like enjoying the body in some way. Yeah, there's a bit of more there's a bit more earth energy on this side, a bit more air on this side. This person's probably more concerned with maybe bettering themselves, expanding, really following their calling and truth. This person might want things to be maybe a little bit more controlled. The fourth house is related to Cancer and the Chariot card. So this usually refers to someone who's kind of walking a bit of a tedious line between really honoring their family of origin and kind of who they feel like they really are deep on the inside, but then also kind of also balancing across maybe a lot of shoulds and expectations that maybe have not necessarily come from within as well. This person may be more interested in more of a traditional path and maybe kind of putting a ring on it and making it legal. Not to say this person isn't, but yeah, this person might, they just feel a little bit more like wanting to do all the steps. Whereas this person, I feel like will only do that sort of stuff if it really feels right and really feels aligned with them. But we'll get some more descriptors to continue to clarify the energy of each of these people. Okay, so person one. So if you're not, like no one has really sprung to mind yet, hopefully this will clarify their energy. If they have most of these kind of aligning with someone you know. If they don't, it might be someone that you don't know yet who hasn't entered your life for whatever reason, that maybe you need to be kind of aware might be entering. So this first person might have red hair. They might be a little bit critical. If they don't have red hair, they might have dark blonde hair, or maybe somewhere in between, maybe a bit of a strawberry blonde hair. Yeah, this person's very disciplined, especially with this Capricorn energy. They may have more hooded eyes. They may have a nurturing kind of side to them, especially with this 4th house, 7th house energy. Like, they do care about having their relationships and family kind of well taken care of. They may have a more triangular shaped face, maybe round eyes. If not triangular, maybe a bit square. They may have quite a sensual side to them, or that might be kind of a way to get close to this person. And brave. So this second person might have short hair. They might be a bit of a rebel, but also they might have a very high standard for themselves and have some perfectionist tendencies. Hair might also be wavy. May have more of a button nose. Straight eyebrows. More of a diamond face shape. And their body may be a little bit more on the stocky side. We'll get some channeled messages oracles. So for our channeled messages, on this side we have intuition, denial, and vulnerability. Whatever's coming up with this first connection, you may need to check in with your inner intuition in terms of how to deal with it, and there may be some need for both detachment and vulnerability. So if you're feeling super attached to this person and maybe have some walls up, maybe have been avoiding telling them some truths, either to preserve the connection or preserve the potential of the connection or something that's potentially not serving you in this situation. In this side, we have friendship. This friendship is leading to more. Play hard, find time to laugh, goof off and enjoy each other. And this person is in your life to teach you a spiritual lesson. So yeah, we do have a lot of ninth house energy and provoker energy. So this does usually entail some spiritual lessons, especially if you are also at your Saturn return, or this person may be more mature than you and you're at your Saturn return. They may be teaching you some things. They may be here more so to enjoy, even though they are teaching you things for sure. Like there may be lessons in that enjoyment of each other, and the kind of, maybe this is why this person also feels quite stable, is because there's this kind of foundation of friendship with this person. Yeah, it does feel like maybe this side might be a little bit more challenging, even though there's a lot of provoker energy on this side. I would say this person maybe feels a bit more challenging. Maybe they've been a bit more distant with this void of course of moon energy, even though they are quite kind of secure, stable in themselves. Like they might have been a little bit more difficult to reach in a way. But yeah, it seems important that you detach with love from this situation to see it a bit more clearly. And maybe there's some need for just some more honesty in this connection. But we'll get a little bit more using our traditional tarot. We'll dig a little bit deeper. Spirit, what messages do you have for this situation with these two energies, please? So what Spirit's really asking here is it's essentially asking you to get some kind of clarity on this situation and just like think about some things in terms of like how this person has shown up for you in the past and whether those patterns are going to kind of fit well with your future. And then looking at this person more in the light of, can you move through all of the things that you kind of planned and want for yourself? Definitely the things that you want from a very deep inner calling. Can this person kind of see them through? So yeah, I would say this reading in particular, Spirit's probably got some more questions rather than telling you things. Spirit really wants you to, with this Five of Swords energy, ask if there's, so this Five of Swords, this is a Venus in Aquarius energy, and a lot of the time when it comes out in reverse, it's asking, is staying worth it? or is cutting your losses and moving on a better option for you? And that's not to judge one or the other, but just like really being clear on that question, what the answer to that question is, will be very, very helpful. So potentially on this side, there's some toxicity that needs to be repaired, that's either coming from within both of you or within one of you, or probably both. But yeah, there's definitely some sort of pattern that's not serving both of you, most likely, that needs to be addressed. And Spirit's asking, do you think it is possible to be fixed, or is it unfixable, based on where you guys are spiritually right now? Because it's all well and good to be like, yeah, it can be fixed, but not in the state that me or them are in right now. Like, it's kind of like holding on to hope for a fix and just like expecting a lot from yourself that's not realistic for where you're really at. So Spirit's asking you to have compassion for where you're at, where they're at, and asking like, is whatever that's going on between the two of you fixable realistically based on where you're both at in your life right now? Or is it better to cut your losses and move on? And it could be like one answer could be really clear over the other in that, or maybe that's a question that needs to be unanswered, and for you to almost go into move forward, like kind of looking for evidence of one side or the other and making a decision that way. So if no answer springs to mind, just keep that in the back of your mind as you move forward, and just seeing what evidence there is for either side of that argument, because there's probably going to be evidence for both. Spirit's also asking with the Seven of Pentacles energy, what's not working in this connection so far, and what's the new course that you would hope this connection moves down. The Seven of Pentacles also has a lot to do with money and success, so there may be issues around money and or like what you would need to really feel like you've fulfilled your purpose in this life, as well as like what makes you feel successful, what makes this person feel successful. So figuring out what that is on an individual level, like how do you each define success, what's each of your kind of attitudes towards money, what do you want for each other and yourselves financially, and does that align? Like there's a lot of questions here to ask in regards to these energies, and seeing if you guys are on the same page enough to move forward. We also have this Emperor energy in reverse, so this is probably asking like, is this person going to be a kind of protector, provider, positive influence? Does this person have vision for their life? Are they kind of reasonable, especially in times of conflict, because this is heavy Aries energy? Do they care about themselves but also care about you and the state of the relationship like equally? Essentially, are they equally me and we focus? Like they can prioritize themselves, but they can also prioritize the connection without abandoning themselves. Do they have a vision for your future with them? And yeah, again, these questions an answer might come into your mind completely, like instantly. You may need to journal on this. You may need to have this question kind of in the back of your mind and just like see what unfolds and see if those kind of needs of yours are getting met. On this side, we have more of a King of Swords rather than an Emperor energy. So this person may be a little bit, maybe like there may be a little bit less conflict with you with this person, but this person may just be a difficult energy within themselves. Usually the Emperor creates conflict with people around them, whereas the King of Swords more creates conflict within themselves that ends up impacting other people. So really pay attention to the conflict this person creates within themselves and figure out if that's something that you'd want to stick around for if they potentially don't change. A lot of this reading, I would say, is based on Spirit wanting you to like think about things in the event that things don't change drastically. Like, can you work with the energies essentially as they are? Do they fit the way the energies are right now with your current capacity? Like, trying not to expect too much of yourself, essentially. We do have this Hierophant card. So this has a lot to do with values, tradition, ritual, self-care, community care, financial stability, and all that sort of stuff. Like, does this person meet all of your needs when it comes to all of these energies? Do you want the same kind of things in terms of tradition and daily rituals? Like, what's your stance on like formal commitments and contracting that commitment by maybe getting like legally married, things like that? Do they want the same things as you? Do you guys fit together when it comes to daily rituals? Can you guys care for each other on a day-to-day basis and meet each other's needs on a day-to-day basis? Can this person again provide for you? I would say this is like fairly specifically financially, but also spiritually. We also have the Three of Cups. Like, this is a kind of a friendship energy. So I would say for some people this might be, does this person feel like more platonic or romantic? Like, that might be a question you need to ask. Or when this person shifts from platonic to romantic, can they keep that kind of foundation of friendship alive? Especially if that's something that you feel like you need. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of questions here about either the state of your friendship previously or the state of your friendship in the future of this connection. Like, can you continue that energy of friendship and support into the future? Three of Cups is also like a Mercury and Cancer energy. So there's a lot of energy here to do with gratitude, abundance, aligning the heart and mind. So yeah, just like figuring out if the life that you see with them would feel abundant and would feel like something you're grateful for. Does it feel like something you're settling for potentially? Just anything like that, just like really checking in and being able to answer these questions. We also have the Seven of Swords. So this is a energy traditionally about deception and betrayal, but essentially it's kind of more so about trust. Like, do you trust this person? It's a moon in Aquarius energy, so it's all about honesty, someone being true to their word, and if they are keeping secrets, is it like a reasonable secret? Like, there's a difference between like keeping things from someone from a place of like your own kind of boundaries around what you're going to reveal based on your closeness to that person and your trust of that person with kind of personal information. That's not necessarily a secret. That's kind of more of a reasonable, healthy boundary to do with getting to know someone. But then there's secrets in terms of like deceptions that mislead. So yeah, like really distinguishing between the two and like figuring out if this person's like true to their word and you can essentially trust them. Yeah, that seems to be important in this connection as well. Okay, is there any final so probably in both of these connections there's an element of this Lovers card energy. So the Lovers card is all about things being mirrored to you in order for you to align with the most loving, conscious, kind of aware version of yourself. So it's likely that both of these connections mirror different things to you in different ways, that ultimately both contribute to your soul expansion. Traditionally in this card, like one of the lovers is looking up at the sun. It's usually depicted by kind of an Adam and Eve scenario, and Eve is usually looking up at the divine, and it symbolizes using your physical relationships in life to align you with more kind of like godlike energy. So it seems like either of these connections, like it doesn't matter, like it may be a different path, but you'll end up essentially in the same place. I would expect a lot of change to be kind of afoot either now or in the very near future. There may be some need to kind of like move forward from a very surrendered place and just like really follow what opportunities kind of feel good, what feels warm, and just like move in the direction of flow. Like you're kind of looking at it like a river and just like moving where the water naturally wants to flow, and doing that really consciously. There's a river that just flows from a place of kind of automation and even shadow in some instances, and there's a river that flows from like this place of love and consciousness. So like figuring out which river's what and aligning with that natural flow down the kind of river of warmth, river of opportunity. And one of the ways that the Two of Pentacles usually asks us to flow down the river is really by creating structures that support our best self and getting rid of any old systems that aren't serving us. Like a lot of our unconscious kind of patterns are coming from us having a certain system in place that kind of allowed that river to form. So you're looking of how to like almost like destroy anything that makes negative systems or habits easy to follow. So a really easy example of this is like, for example, if you if one of the flow towards in an easeful way things that you want is to maybe get fit, like a good example would be putting out a either yoga mat or like dumbbells or something fitness somewhere in a new space that you don't really use all that often, to kind of stimulate a good environment or a good structure to achieve that goal, and maybe getting rid of any hindrance to that. So if maybe one of the reasons why you don't go to the gym now is because you watch a lot of television, like maybe sell your TV. Like could be something like that. So yeah, like figuring out ways to build new structures, to build the habits that you want so that you can flow down the river of ease and consciousness, and figuring out how to essentially destroy the old habits and systems that led you down a more shadowy path that you don't want anymore. Like really figuring out the difference between the two. So we also have the Nine of Swords. So this is usually refers to what we think of as more negative emotion. It's like, I wouldn't say negative, I would just say more challenging. The challenging emotions are probably, like if you listen in, are probably trying to tell you something. Like we don't get depressed or anxious for no reason. Usually they're trying to tell us something. What can I think of as an example? Like sometimes we can get anxious about things where we're being stretched outside our comfort zone and we need kind of extra support. Sometimes we're doing something that's not aligned with us. Maybe sometimes, especially with the depression one, I find like we might have been overexerting ourselves for too long and like kind of succumbing to the system of capitalism, and that's something that needs to be addressed in some way. So really paying attention to any challenging emotions that you're having, figuring out what they're trying to teach you, what they're pointing towards that's kind of not serving you in your life, and figuring out kind of a reasonable first baby step towards what it is that you want and what would alleviate that emotion in a way, at least a little. We also have the Eight of Pentacles. This is a heavy employment education, so it might be a good time to either change jobs or undertake study to do with something that you want, especially if all of this that you've been putting in place is leading you to some sort of shift of employment or education. Now's definitely a good time. It's a good time for you to do you and for you to work out exactly what it is that you want and figure out the steps to kind of get where you want to go. This Eight of Pentacles, this is a Sun in Virgo energy, and it's really about creating structure, order, routine in your day-to-day life to kind of get you where you want to go. And so if there's something that you really want, like say for example you wanted to, we'll just use tarot as an example, say you really wanted to learn tarot, a good like kind of daily ritual is picking a daily tarot card and really understanding what that card means, like when you pick it, like reading the guidebook, maybe doing some journaling, figuring out how that card applied to you that day. And that's like it's this educational daily exercise, daily routine that you can get into that will align you with what it is that you want, where you're going. We also have the Eight of Cups. So this is a Jupiter and Gemini energy, and this is really about trying to be as focused as possible while also trying to liberate the mind. So not getting stuck, like not getting really narrow-minded to do with anything. Sorry, Eight of Cups, not Eight of Swords for some reason I was thinking of. So Eight of Cups is a Saturn in Pisces energy, and this is about moving on from an emotionally stagnant situation to the next, especially if you feel like lessons have been learned. It's now time to close it and move on to the next thing. We'll get some oracles as well. Okay, so there seems to have been there's a lot of challenging energies here. So I've got heartbroken, so this is deeply hurt, sad, separation, breakup, feeling lost, grieving. So we have not today, not dealing, hurt, avoiding a conversation, boundaries, still angry, the golden mirror, one-sidedness, self-absorbed energies, love bombing, not enough, feeling frustrated, in relationship, lack of confidence, self-sabotage, fear and ego issues, jealousy, and then keys on a ring, many options, decisions, unconventional, string along, one night stand. These energies are a little bit easier, but yeah, there's mostly challenging ones here. So there may be this kind of a bit of a challenging situation before things start to kind of figure themselves out, which is potentially why Spirit asked you a lot of questions, because there's maybe some rejigging going on by the looks of things. But it does seem like ultimately where this is heading is like some sort of like rebuilding, having faith, love is coming, things kind of working out and having that attraction, flirting kind of experience at some point. So we have resistance and the unexpected. So releasing any resistance that's coming up within when it comes to the situation at hand, and yeah, really trying to find that flow, and just being open to things not necessarily working out the way you thought with this unexpected card. And it's likely you'll need to use your own intuition and discernment moving forward, and like really backing yourself and trusting yourself to get you to where you want to go. But new start is coming. So we have don't let your past hold you back. It's a time to take action and take time to breathe out. So I would say, because these two cards came out together, that the action that needs to be taken is more about you than it is about anyone else. So what action do you need to take for you right now? Don't let the past hold you back. Know that new things are coming, and yeah, just like really embrace this time as a time to take a breath and just worry about you for a hot minute. Your affirmation is, I choose to accept myself just as I am, because I am my own beautiful creation. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to leave this here. Thanks so much for making it all the way through. I really appreciate it. I would love if you could like, comment and subscribe. If you do want a personal reading, I think I'm booked about a month in advance, but the link is in my description below. And also all the links to all my other channels are in the description box below, and socials and things like that. But I hope this reading gave you what you wanted and needed today, or at least it entertained you. Thanks so much for watching, and until I see you again, ciao.